What's up, Karma Nation? Welcome to another edition of our college football best bets. We have myself, Justin Bales. We have Brad and Chris here to give our picks. Before we get started, I do want to say that Bet Karma is live. Our premium models are up. You can get NFL, NBA, college basketball, college football, and horses. For this particular, you're probably interested in college football. Right now, the subscription is $19.99. Just go to betkarma.com/premium. You can find all of them. We do want to give a shout out to Ricky, our horse expert, for turning a relatively small bet into over $30,000 today. I know literally nothing about horse racing. I don't know how he did it. Chris can probably give you a little more info. So, Chris, if you want to just kind of say what happened there, go ahead.
Ricky would put out his cheat sheet this morning for the Aqueduct races. He did a pick 5. He hit some more than that, too, because he hit the pick 2, pick 3, and then the pick 5 in the first 5 races. So it was a roughly, 50-cent bet on each of those, which, could translate to a $10 to $60 bet, somewhere in that range. He won $31,000 and change, maybe like almost $32,000 off the pick 5. $700 off the pick 3 and another $450 off the pick 2, I believe it was. One of the horses he liked came through in the second race, which was 12-1, and just absolutely had a massive day. Over $32,000 of winning is huge, especially if your bet is under $100. That's a pretty good odds, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely elite. So his package is up under horses, obviously. For this, we just do recommend that you go grab our college football expert bets. You will get all bets from us three throughout the week. I know you guys do a lot of Thursday or Friday betting. Mine usually stick more just towards Saturday, just because that's when I get my plays up and whatnot. But we'll each give out a bet on here. We do have more, obviously, that you would get if you purchase that package. Not too expensive. So I do recommend betkarma.com/premium and just at least go check it out, make a free account. As for now, let's just get into our bets. So Brad, why don't you give us what you're playing this week?
So I'm going to start off with the Demon Deacons at Virginia Tech. This game was interesting to me when I saw the line sitting at 2 points. I'm really in love with what Jamie Newman's doing. And if you eliminate that Louisville game, Wake Forest would be undefeated. They're 4-2 against spread in their last 6. 9-1 in their last 10. On top of that, I'm just not sold on how good Virginia Tech is. I know they had that close game with Notre Dame, but Virginia Tech does not protect their house. They're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. So when you have a quarterback like Jamie Newman, who's thrown for 20 touchdowns, about 3 to 5 interceptions, and then another 5 on the ground, it's kind of hard to not want to do this. If you think about both teams too, Wake Forest is better on both sides of the ball. They're better offensively and slightly better defensively. So, but I think that is because their offense stays on the field a lot more than Virginia Tech does. But 2 points is a great spot here because honestly, when you think about it, it's coming down to who's going to win the game. And day in and day out, I'm going to take Wake Forest. Wake Forest is actually looking like a team that can go ahead and give Clemson a run for their money. So I'm excited to see how the rest of the season wraps up, and I'm not afraid to hammer Wake Forest in this one.
Yeah, I like Wake's offense has been brilliant. Like you said, other than that Louisville game where they just look just completely off balance defensively. I mean, they still scored, I think, what would you say, it was like 59 points or something like that.
Lost 60. Scored 59.
They're lights out. They're very quick. If you haven't watched them play, they're a fun team to watch on TV. So I'm going to tail you on that. So I'm going to be on Wake with you, -2.5. So I'm jumping on that with you. Bales, what do you look at?
No, sorry. I like the Wake game too, just because, I mean, if you haven't watched Jamie Newman play, it's just incredible. He's so fun. It's kind of like Cam Newton was at Auburn. But if you look at their games too, they win a lot of close games, which obviously that's not a great thing against the spread for certain games. But when you're only a 2-point favorite, you literally almost just need to win. So when you have a team that just comes out on top in those close games, generally they're just better at the end of the games. So it just puts Wake in a good spot. For me personally, I don't know how many people are going to like this, but I'm going Minnesota +7. I think right now it dropped down to +6.5, but I'm assuming money is going to come in on Penn State. It literally always does. So you should be able to get this back up at +7. For me, I mean, it seems like both defenses are just a little bit better than both offenses. And I know that Minnesota has had their struggles, but recently they really haven't. They held Illinois to 17, Nebraska to 7, Rutgers to 7, and then Maryland to 10 in their last 4. So outside of early struggles, I guess you could say, they've really stepped their game up a lot. Penn State, on the other hand, I mean, they've looked pretty good all season. I'm just not a huge Penn State guy. I don't think that they're the 5th best team in the country. I don't necessarily know if I think that Minnesota is better than them, but you're getting 7 points at home for Minnesota. So that puts them around 10 to 11 points on a neutral field. And there's no way that I would bet Penn State that. The other big thing for this game is the rushing attack. Both teams rely heavily on the run. When that happens, it just shortens the game. So it doesn't give as many opportunities for scores, which makes the big spread at 7 points a little bit more appetizing for Minnesota. Also, when you look at Penn State, their run defense has been elite, but they've played virtually nobody that runs the ball well. When they played Michigan, their starting running back averaged 5.4 yards per carry. I mean, Minnesota's running backs, they have 3 semi-elite running backs. They're going to be able to run the ball realistically. I know a lot of people are on Penn State here, but it's just too big of a spread to cover. I don't honestly care if you bet Penn State money line. That seems fine to me, but I can't bet them at winning by 7 or more points.
I picked up this game early and looked at it, both sides of it, and it's something that I took off the board just because I didn't want to mess with the game. Obviously, it's going to be one of the bigger games in Minnesota in a long time. When's the last time Minnesota was 8-0 with a big time team coming in to play? So I took it off the board. I am going to play it in a money line parlay with Penn State, and the reason I'm doing that is because I think that Minnesota can cover that 7. So I want to be, in a game, but not risking the full spread with Penn State. Penn State's shown they can stop the run, and they run the ball, but Minnesota has a really good QB who's got a high quarterback rating. So we'll see how they do against a team that can run and throw. So Penn State, I could see people laying money on Penn State with the points. I could also see Minnesota covering easily. So I'm with you. Not playing Penn State minus the 6.5. I'm not playing Minnesota plus, but I am going to money line Penn State.
Brad, what do you think about it?
Unfortunately, I'm on the other side. Actually, I put this in my write-up here. But I mean, if the more the line creeps to that 7.5 number, I could see Minnesota. But I just think that Minnesota hasn't really played enough teams for me to be confident in that defense, especially allowing 29.8 points per game. But I was looking at the consensus here. I think it's 53% around there on Penn State. If we can get that number closer to like 60%, the money starts flying in on Penn State, we'll see that Minnesota line jump up a little bit more. It makes me a little bit more comfortable in my 6.5 bet, but more towards I want to put money on Minnesota. It's going to be an exciting game. I do still think that game day should have been in Minnesota, but oh well, it's going to be a fun game to watch. So best of luck to you on that one.
Yeah, thanks, man. Chris, what do you got this week?
I'm looking at Wyoming plus 14.5 now, going into Boise State Saturday night on the blue turf, I should say. And some of the stuff I was looking at, I liked out of Wyoming is they've covered 3 of the last 5 games. They've run the ball very efficiently, and they're very good against the run. Now, Boise throws the ball about 60% of the time. So statistically, it's basically a matchup of Wyoming running the ball and keeping Boise off the field. So if they can get out of the first quarter where it's not like kind of a blowout of 14-0 game right out of the gate, then Wyoming's going to be right in this game the entire game. If not, not saying they pull it upset at 14 points in Boise, but they're going to be right in the mix. A 7-point game easily, anywhere from a 3 to basically a 10-point line. Wyoming is coming in. They're averaging 3.1 sacks a game, and Boise's given up almost 3 sacks a game offensively. So the defensive line from Wyoming is able to get after the quarterback during passes. And the biggest thing is on first and second down, if Boise does try to run it, they've been stuffing the run. So it's to third longs. Both teams pick up on average around 42% of their third downs. Boise's QB is better. Wyoming is running game is better, and they pound it, working on it. So I'm hoping it's a slower game. Wyoming averages around 63 plays a game, which is one of the lower number of plays in the NCAA. They're bottom, I think, 10%. And then Boise tries to up-tempo it. So, again, if they can get a couple of stops early in the first quarter, it's going to be an easy cover. Going to be a clear night, looks like, probably like high 30s, low 40s in Boise. So I think Wyoming should get in there. They're going to play them tough. Big rivalry game for them. So I like the 14.5. If it keeps rising, if it jumps up even further, I'm going to take it. So I like that also that the public, there's almost 70% of the money from the public on Boise. So it's just another reason I'm jumping on Wyoming here.
Brad, how do you feel about it?
Me personally, I'm not on this game, but I did do some research when you were letting me know about it. I do like the fact that in the last 3 games, Wyoming has covered in 2 out of the 3. So it's not one game I'm tailing, but I do like the trends in that regard.
Yeah, I'm with Brad on that game specifically. It just seems like one of the 2 teams is going to do exactly what they need to cover spread, and it's just which team can be the more efficient offense with what they want to do.
Yep.
So those are 3 plays that we have for you this week. Once again, go to betkarma.com/premium. Check out all of our subscriptions that you can get. For the 3 of us, you will be in a Discord channel for our college football bets. It's $19.99. I do highly recommend it, obviously, since the 3 of us have been pretty good. No, but seriously, we hope to see everyone in there, and good luck with all of your bets this weekend.
If you got questions, please, follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handles below. Shoot us any questions you got, and we'll let you know if we've looked at that game or not. Obviously, there are sometimes people send messages that I haven't looked at the game, so I don't want to give out information. So I just say, sorry, can't help you there. But the games that I have looked at and spent, hours this week on, I certainly give some advice on.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.